way I look at it is like, instead of me asking you to promote my stuff and begging you to promote my stuff, I'll just run my own ads and run my own thing, and I don't have to worry about begging or asking people to promote. And it's another thing, like, as business owners, we got to stop feeling entitled. And understand that, like, a marketing budget is required, and a budget is required to run a business and get in front of the people.
We call our company Speak Your Way to Cash. If you're looking to grow your business with your expertise, this podcast will be your ultimate guide to growing your business, attracting high-paying clients, mastering the art of sales, and persuasive speaking. Each episode on the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast dives deep into the world of sales, marketing, and the operations it takes to grow and scale a service-based business. Get ready to get into this episode and share your thoughts in the free Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. I'll see you there. Listen in.
High, excuses, low, energy, high, excuses, low, energy, high, excuses, low, energy, high.
Hello, welcome to the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. I am Ashley Kirkwood, host of Speak Your Way to Cash and founder of the Speak Your Way to Cash company. Now, I am here with one of my best friends, Audria Richmond of UnCloned Marketing. We are going to get into an incredible discussion. Audria, welcome to the Speak Your Way to Cash show.
What's up?
What's up?
I'm
so
excited.
Glad you're here.
Yes, I'm excited because, you know, when we get together, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Yes.
So I could dive right in, but tell everyone who you are and why
Yes.
you are the absolute best at what you do.
Yes. So my name is Audria Richmond. I'm a marketing and launch strategist. I work directly with my clients to teach them how to build uncloned brands and launch profitable marketing campaigns. And so people come to me when they're ready to become the obvious choice with their marketing.
I love it.
Yes.
Now, this show, it's a lot of speakers that watch, a lot of entrepreneurs that watch,
Yes.
a lot of consultants, and we really focus on helping service-based businesses grow.
Yes.
What do you think is the number one challenge, as you see it, that service-based businesses are having right now?
I feel like a lot of service-based business owners are struggling with standing out, like struggling. I was actually on the call with my clients, and I was asking them, like, hey, why you decided to work with me? They was like, well, I'm in this industry and it's saturated. It's boring. I want to stand out. I'm tired of being looked over for different opportunities, and I need to figure out how to make myself stand out.
Was there ever a time where you felt like you couldn't stand out?
Yes.
Tell me
Hell
about
yeah.
that.
For me, back in the day, I would say around 2015, 16, I was starting to get some traction online. And as I'm building my brand, I was like, people keep coming to me, asking me, what's the difference between this and this? And that was super annoying to me because all I could think about was, you should know I'm different. You should be able to see that I'm different. But they couldn't see that I was different because my pictures was the same. How I was dressing was the same. My offerings and how I was packaging myself was the same. Hell, my marketing message was the same. And so I was like, this can't be it. And I figured out a way to, like, make myself stand out. And then that's when things started to really take off.
Where do you think it comes from? Like, people not feeling like they can stand out?
Trust. Most people don't trust themselves. Most people want to be validated by someone that they trust. And sometimes somebody they don't trust. But a lot of the times people don't trust themselves. And because they don't trust themselves, it's hard for them to have an idea and run with it without running it past a million people before they actually feel confident about it. Because that was me. Every time I came up with an idea, I would call a friend, girl, what you think? What you think? What you think? How often do I call you and be like, Ashley, what you think? A lot of the times you see things when they come out. Or sometimes we'll collaborate, but I'm confident in myself that if you did give me feedback, I can still put my own identity and my own spin on it. And I don't think a lot of people know how to do that.
Yeah, I feel like that's even an area where me and you are different, right? Like, one of the things me and Audrey do is debate all the time. Like, we have a lot of debates. And I think one of the areas where we differ is I look at getting a lot of opinions like, I am a queen, this is my court, advise the queen. You know what I mean? So I am always like, tell me your opinions. And then I'm looking at it not from a point of like, I need them to like it, but from a point of like, good perspective, I'll consider. Good perspective, I'll consider. Good, like, where's the rest of my court? You know what I mean? And I think that took, but that was the way I was taught to express my individuality, was by getting a lot of opinions. But I do think, to your point, the way you teach it is so critical, because what I find, even when I'm coaching people, is they'll take what I say as law over what they say or over what they believe. And it's like, okay, so I want your opinion on this. Because we're both coaches. So we know, we know.
Let's go there. I can see it in your face. Let's go there, bro. Let's go there.
Because we literally know the challenges that come with coaching people.
Right.
So I believe that one of the real reasons why people find that coaching doesn't work for them, why coaching fails an individual person, the number one way I could tell coaching is going to fail a person is if they are trusting and needing the coach to give them their vision.
Yes, that sucks. Actually, I heard that from you.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing you on a live stream one day. You was like, "Can't no coach give me a vision?"
Absolutely.
And I was like, "That's a bar." And I'm one of those people who have never had to get vision from people.
Yeah.
And so I never even knew that as a competitive advantage.
Yes.
So when you said that, I was like, "That's a bar," because most people don't know how to like take that information and like run with it.
Yeah, because people, true or false? The industry emphasizes way too much on clarity.
Sometimes you ain't gonna be clear.
Come on.
Sometimes you're gonna have to put something out and get the result, and then that's when you're gonna get the clarity.
Exactly. Yes. And I feel like the reason why people are like, please give me a vision. What do I do, coach? What do I do, coach? What do I do, coach? Is like people have over marketed clarity. Oh, I'm gonna give you clarity. I'm gonna give you clarity. If you get clear on anything, I want to show you who you are. Right. So that you don't need clarity before you act. Right. Right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a big piece. But yeah, I wanted your opinion on that.
I just feel like when people are always marketing this thought process of like, you got to be clear, you got to be clear, you got to be clear. Sometimes you can't be clear until you get the data. And a lot of the times, most people don't have enough data to even make executive decisions.
Well, let me ask you this. Yeah. What do service-based businesses need to be clear on to win right now?
One, you need to be clear on where you're going. At the very least. You may not know the full vision. You may not know exactly where it ends, but you at least need to have some type of foundational idea of where you want to go. Because if you're not clear about where you want to go, then you don't even know which coach you need to hire. You don't know which books you need to read. You don't know what skills you need to acquire. So I would definitely say getting clarity around that.
Okay, let's back up because we're going to get into a lot of good details. Make sure team, make sure y'all give me time because we can literally talk all day. Tell us, who is Audria? How did you become where you're at now? Because I feel like one of the misperceptions about anyone of influence, and you have done so much. I mean, we didn't even get into the accolades, Forbes, all major media platforms, was growing on social media before it was a trend. Revolutionized the marketing space, incredible launches and campaigns. Your book launch was revolutionary, and it's the reason why our book looks the way it does. We literally took Publishing Like a Pro, was following you beforehand. I think I found you during your book launch, and you helped us.
You had just had Christelle.
Yeah, all of our people be like, oh, your products look so nice. I'm like, I took Publishing Like a Pro. My book is here. I have a soft cover and a hard cover because Miss Richmond made sure I wasn't out here looking janky. If y'all go, put it up here, whoever's doing this. Look at my video setup. It was horrible. Her video setup, pristine. Years ago. I got so many people I got to hire to get this look now, right? So you are absolutely incredible. And people see where you're at now. Right. They see the UnCloned queen. That's what I always call you. They see the UnCloned queen. But what did you have to struggle through and overcome to get there? Did you have a perfect background? No. Did you come from a great family? Tell us your story. Yeah. And I want you to tell it as though there's a woman watching who feels like because of where she was born, she can't change the entire world.
Well, this is what I'll say. Everybody has a family that they love. Absolutely. Right? But I feel like when I was growing up, my family didn't tell me I had to go to school. They wasn't you got to go to college or you got to do this. It was just if you made it out of high school, you was killing it, right? And so for me, when I got out of school, it wasn't this far thing I was trying to achieve, if that makes sense. It was just I made it. I got a good job. Let me go out and be a good citizen of the world. And then eventually it got to a time when I was just I want more, right? I want more. And I remember going to this photo shoot and seeing one of my friends get photographed. And I was like, man, this is dope. You get paid from your creativity. This was the first time I seen someone not throwing a box or doing anything physical to make money. He was actually setting up a camera, took pictures of my friend and made money. And I was just shocked by that whole process. And I was like, well, can you teach me? Bruh told me no.
Dang.
He told me no.
He had a course?
He had no course. Didn't have none of that. So, but this was like back in the day. And at that time, I was just like, you know what? If I want to learn it, I'm going to have to go find someone to teach me. So I went to the bookstore. I found some books by Scott Kelby, Change the Game. And this book taught me photography and videography. That's kind of started my whole career. But as I continue to go on with all of these different hustles and businesses, I was like, I ain't getting no real traction with these junks. I need to really learn marketing. And so I read a book called Book Yourself Solid by Michael Kors.
He's been on the show. Check out his episode.
So I read that book and I was like, man, this is a game changer because this book really allowed me to understand that I had power over who I could work with. And it let me know that I was thinking small. I used to always think that I could only get clients within my zip code. I didn't know I could get clients all over the world. And so I started to learn online marketing, all of that. And then
what year was this?
This was in 2013, going into 2014, because I brought my business online, my online business in 2014. And within the first 60 days, I made like $20,000. And when
first 60 days?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't know like what I was doing.
$20,000?
Yeah.
In 2014?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And
but okay, so I want to point some things out because I feel like people think, oh, well, you know, this is how she is now. There are always success traits that I believe, some of which are innate.
Yes.
Like, so before you even brought your business online, did y'all hear she say she went and read books?
Yes.
Did you hear she say she asked someone to teach her? She tried to get coaching? Like, these are some success traits.
But at the time, I didn't know it was coaching. Or trying to get trained. I just like, bro, give me the game.
Instincts, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You had these like embedded instincts. Okay, that's so good.
So I'm getting online, I'm doing my thing, and I'm starting to get some traction. I started making money online. The first time I started making money online, I thought it was illegal. I was like, ain't no way you can make this much money this fast.
How did you have like payment processors, and how did you get people to know about you?
Well, I had found a course online. I signed up for the course, and I get in this Facebook group. And in this Facebook
how much was the course?
$2,000.
Back then, we need to raise our prices. We out here. I still got a course for the 2K.
You know what I mean? It's too low. We're trying a decade later, people.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going through this process, and I'm thinking to myself, like, dang, I'm in this course. People are talking about making money. I'm making my first $20,000. I cannot believe it. Because at the time, I was making that in a year.
So was this your first launch?
Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through your first launch. Did you do a marketing
I didn't even
campaign?
know it was a launch back then.
Right.
I was just like, you know, they tell you online, you know, you need to survey your audience. I didn't know how to survey people. I was just like, look, I want to get into this business. I'm going to figure this thing out. I'm going to put together a 15-minute video. I'm going to tell people that they branding sucked. It was basically called 10 Steps to Launching a Premium Brand.
Where'd you post it?
I posted it on Lead Pages.
Okay.
I don't know if people remember that, but Lead Pages is like a landing page software. But anyway, I posted a video on there. And I started getting some comments. And what I did, and I didn't know I was doing this back then. If you got to the end, you could get a call with me. But at the time, I didn't know it was a sales call.
Right.
It was just like, I'm just going to get on the phone and survey people. But they can't get this call unless they show me that they willing to put in the work. If you make it to the end of the video, we can get on a call.
And how would you know if they made it to the end?
So in Lead, look, I like that you asking me these questions. Yes. So in Lead Page, they have this thing where you can time the button. And after so long in the video, a button will appear. And then you could book a call. So they would book these calls. And then I had this one lady ask me, well, how do I work with you? I'm doing all these calls. I'm talking to all these people. And they're like, well, how do I actually work with you?
So you weren't making no offers. You were doing market research.
I didn't have an offer.
Oh, y'all better. Are y'all taking, where y'all at in the comments? Come on.
I didn't have an offer.
So how many calls? Do you remember how many calls
it was a lot.
You made an offer?
It was, but
more than 10?
I don't think I would have ever, no, it was like 40. I did 40 calls, but I would say by the time she got on the phone, I probably had did like 15 or 20 calls.
Wow.
So she was the first one that was like, how do I work with you? And I'm thinking to myself, like, lady, I don't know what the hell to tell you. I ain't got no offer. I didn't even know what the package.
Yeah.
So I said, give me a day. I take a day. And I put together this offer. And don't laugh. I put together this offer. I didn't have no rhyme or reason. I was like, I'm going to have a $5,000 package and a $10,000 package.
Come on, in 20. This is blowing me, y'all. This is so good.
This is great. I got these two packages. I'm like, all right, with the $5,000 package, I'm going to have, I'm just going to coach you every week for a year.
At $5K?
I ain't doing that no more. But yeah, at $5,000. And the $10,000.
One-on-one?
Huh?
One-on-one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And the other package was every week we would coach each other, and I would do all your branding, your website, your branding style guide. Ooh. I would coach you through your photo shoot, everything.
Ooh, just my whole life is yours.
10K? I didn't know my value.
But you knew value because you were charging. You were like, I'm going to have an upsell. You may not have said that, but it was like, I'm going to hit them with the 5 and the 10.
Yeah, I just showed her both packages, but this what really, I think, switched in my head that I wasn't like playing small anymore. When I told her that, she was like, look, your rates are cool. I'm like, what? You got to keep in mind, I'm the $75, $100 photo shoot girl.
What was the most you charged before you told her these new rates?
I mean, I was doing wedding photography for like $750, $500.
So that was the highest amount.
That was the highest amount I ever quoted anybody. And for her to say your prices are good, and she was like, well, your prices are good, but can we do a portion of this? And so that was like $1,000. I needed like $300 to pay my car note. So it ended up working out.
So I want to go here because we teach sales, right? And so when people are on that call and they're saying those numbers, oftentimes they're so scared that it affects the way the sale transpires.
Right.
So for you, were you able to confidently say like 5,000 and 10,000?
Oh, I said it with a straight face, but in my skin,
Have you practiced before or no?
Hell no.
Okay.
I was shaking. I was like, I'm gonna tell her these rates, but I was reading these sales stuff online, and it was like, whatever you do when you quote your price, do like keep a straight face.
Yeah,
keep a straight face. Now I can't say I was super confident, but I was like, I don't know if it works. If she said yes, and she said yes, so I was like, okay, well maybe they too high, and so it gave me the courage to keep going and promoting with other people.
So you negotiated.
Yeah.
Okay, so now here's another important point because I think oftentimes people are like, I can't set my rates at 30,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 because people won't accept it. But your rate doesn't mean that you can't negotiate.
Right.
It's just easier to go down than to go up.
Right, because I pitched her a $5,000 package, and she was like, well, can I start with at least $1,000? So we were negotiating, but at the time I didn't know it was that. I was just happy she didn't leave the call not giving me nothing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And what happened after? So we got the sales. How did you fulfill
So at this point, I have something to offer. So it switched in my head from like, this ain't market research no more. Like these people want to give me money. Because it went from like, oh, I'm just surveying, talking to people, let me figure it out, to like, if she'll give me some money, who else will give me some money? And so the calls from her call forward started turning into, at the end, instead of saying, all right, bye, I started saying, oh, by the way, I have these 2 packages. And I would pitch it that way.
And then how did that go?
It went good because I ended up making my $20,000. Well, that was just in deposit, the amount I told you. But like over the course of that year, it was 6 figures.
Incredible. Yeah. So your first year online, you do 6 figures.
Yeah.
And how many
books? The most money ever I've made in my life.
How many books do you think you read? Like books, courses? Like what was your preparation like?
I think for me, the thing that did it the most was I was in a course and I was in a community. And in that Facebook group, even though I didn't believe a lot of that stuff at the time, as I was transitioning,
a lot of what stuff? We gotta break that down.
I didn't believe what they were saying. They was like, "Oh, I just had a 6-figure lunch." I'm like, "She lying." Until I made that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or like, I just closed this client at this amount. I'm like, they lying. Until I experienced. So sometimes as people, we gotta see it to believe it.
Yeah.
And for me, once I saw in my own eyes that I could go to the store and buy stuff and not to think about it, I was like, oh, we up from here.
Now, let me ask you this, because you mentioned something, the lying thing. Now, I believe that right now, people are extraordinarily skeptical.
Yes.
While also being more savvy than ever.
Yes.
So basically, they trying to see through all the BS.
Right. They don't know
what's right.
Real.
Sometimes they're wrong. Yeah.
Right.
And so that's why, like, we're really big on real experts versus fake experts.
Right.
We the real ones, it's some other ones, right? And now, don't you think, though, that that's why we actually should talk about money more as a people?
I think the thing about the amounts of money that we make, right?
Yeah.
I think it's still far-fetched for some people. Some people are still trying to get to 10K, which is cool. You know, that's the amount you want to get to. But we do it so much in our sleep. Like, it was like, oh, I just woke up to a $10,000 contract.
True.
I just woke up to a $25,000 contract. Oh, I just had a 6-figure lunch. Like, that's not normal. And so we have to find a way to normalize it, but it starts in the mind first. Like, people got to believe that it's even possible.
Yeah. But I do think it's important for us to say those numbers, because for me, I remember being in corporate, and I was like about to negotiate a new salary, and it was a Black woman lawyer came up to me and was like, yo, that firm just gave out a 6-figure signing bonus to another woman. And she was like, only a year ahead of you, so you need to ask for it. And so I asked for a $100,000 signing bonus at my next job. I didn't get it, but they gave me $60,000 as a signing bonus.
But you were able to see that you can even do it.
Yes, which is why I am big on us sharing our numbers. I don't think you need to share your bank account screenshots or anything that'll get you caught up. But I do think you should talk about, like, yes, had a 6-figure launch. Yes, we've had a 7-figure launch. Yes, we make millions of dollars in a year, because seeing people do it who look like us, it's going to be more believable than seeing Bob the Builder. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be way more believable. So I do think that's important. Oh, this is so good. So we just went through your first launch.
Yes.
Wow. That's wild. And so how do people even know to go to that landing page?
Because I was running traffic, I was running ads.
You were running
I was running Facebook ads.
This is a critical piece.
Yes, I was running Facebook ads. Now, I didn't have a big budget.
What were you spending back then?
$5 a day.
Girl, come through.
$5 a day. Now, I didn't build a big email list, but I was able to get some traction. I was able to get some momentum. Yeah.
Man, so you were running traffic. So these were cold leads. These weren't your family, your friends.
Nah.
Man, that's good. What would you say to the person who is like literally terrified of running ads?
One, if you're tired of asking your friends and family to promote you, put your ads in front of people who don't know you. And if you truly got value, people will engage with you.
Yep.
Like, I feel like ads is a bypass of begging people to promote your stuff.
100%.
Like, the way I look at it is like, instead of me asking you to promote my stuff and begging you to promote my stuff, I'll just run my own ads and run my own thing, and I don't have to worry about begging or asking people to promote. And it's another thing, like, as business owners, we got to stop feeling entitled. And understand that, like, a marketing budget is required, and a budget is required to run a business and get in front of the people.
That's so good. And I also feel like there are misperceptions about ads. Oh, I'm just going to let my ads agency do it. Oh, I'm just going to, like, if it is a function for you making money in your business, you need to know it.
Right.
Like, people are always like, I can't believe you ran ads. We ran ads up until we made over $1 million in sales. Yes. And we still check our ads all the time. Okay. Yes. And the reason is, if it's responsible for millions of dollars in revenue, how could I, as a CEO, turn a blind eye to that?
Right.
Like, I know you run your ads too, so I just don't. I be like, I really want business owners to learn how to run their own business.
Ooh, it's more than running ads.
It's running your business.
Yes.
Like, how you a CEO, you don't know how to run your business.
Right.
Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah. But you know, a lot of us aren't taught.
We aren't taught.
And I do believe that's why you need to hire coaches. And
who run their business.
Exactly. Or read some books.
Read some books.
Because some of y'all don't be reading these books.
Books.
Right. We got something for you.
No, seriously, like that is, man, that's so good. Like for you to walk, first off, thank you for walking us through that. Because I've been your friend for years and I did not know the intricacies of your first launch. Yeah. Have you been asked about this before?
Not in this detail. So, you know, you good at what you do.
You heard it here first. Breaking news. And how many launches have you done to date?
Oh, wow. 78.
78.
Yeah. I'm on a current launch now.
Yes, 78. Yeah. So what is the biggest misperception about launching that business owners have?
Planning. People don't plan. That's it. If people would plan their launches, flop or fail, you would get so much data, so much clarity, so much information that you just can't get when you just post a flyer on social media.
Now, what is a launch?
The way I like to talk about a launch, to me, is it's a campaign, a marketing campaign that you create that has a start and an end date. It's basically a marketing experience. I like to look at it like an education experience. Whenever I'm doing a marketing campaign, it's just a sequence of education that's going to have people be excited about what it is that you have to offer.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And when you think of the elements of a launch, what would you say are the elements of a launch? One,
your offer. I think the biggest thing that people miss the most is their offer. Mm-hmm. A lot of people be slipping on their offer because they feel like, I've seen a girl do something similar, so I'm going to do that and that should be good to go. Like, that ain't it. Because if you are making your offer your competition or people that you don't know that they offer suck. How you know if it's selling? Are you in a sales dashboard? So a lot of the times people be copying flops. So I would say your offer is a big part of your launch. Your launch goals, having an audience. A lot of people misunderstand the fact that they need an audience. You cannot launch to zero. I know people be trying.
They do.
But you can't. Yeah.
And it's interesting that you talk about like planning it off of someone else's offer, because if you copy someone else's offer,
yes,
people can't help but to desire the source.
Yes.
And to compare you to the source.
Right.
Which is tough because they've been them way longer than you've been trying to be them.
That's what happened with my offer before we started this UnCloned movement. People would literally compare my offer to other people's offers, but my offer literally smelt, felt, and looked just like everybody else.
So they couldn't even see.
They couldn't even see me because they just like, well, her program 12 weeks, your program 12 weeks. They offering this, you offering this.
Girl, you just gave me this crazy visual of like, your offer is literally hidden behind the person you copy.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're literally getting them leads.
Yes, absolutely.
Dang, that's
and you making it easy for them to price compare.
Yeah,
like I'm not a computer. You know what I mean? You're not gonna price compare me. And so I have to visually.
I'm not a computer.
You know what I mean? Like I have to visually showcase that I'm different. I have to demonstrate that I'm different. I have to market in a way that's different. I have to communicate in a way that's different.
What advice would you give to someone who is trying to find their identity?
For starters, you got to unlearn a lot of stuff.
Facts.
You got to unlearn a lot of stuff. You got to unlearn a lot of doctrines. You have to unlearn a lot of bad teaching. You got to unlearn a lot of bad coaching.
Where did you start? Did you start that process with books? Did you start that process with,
The book that I read that really kind of helped me embrace me a lot was The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. I read that book. In that book, we read it like on the way to going home to Memphis. My husband and I, we always do road trips back and forth when we go home. And one of the things I noticed with this book, it was like permission to not give a damn.
Permission to be disliked.
Yes.
Hello. That's what we need.
And you hear that all the time, but how he wrote it in the book was just so refreshing. Yeah.
That's so good. So that's a resource, guys. Like that's a resource. And then you have a book on originality. UnCloned Life. Like I felt like reading that book, I learned a lot more about you. Yeah. I love reading my friends' books. Like I love reading anyone who I am around, I want to read their book. So if you don't have an asset, we got to talk about this very quickly. We got to have this conversation. We have to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Experts without assets are
dead.
Sheesh. None of y'all. I hope y'all are all living and well. But that was the first thing that came to mind.
But this is how I look at it, right? I was at an event and I was listening to this speaker. And this speaker didn't have their own assets. And guess what they had to do? What? Reference their competitors' assets.
Ooh.
Think about it. You a speaker that teach people how to do X, but you ain't got a book on X. Now, I'm not saying you have to have one, but the ones that do go up the totem pole.
It's so true because the first thing people always ask is, where's your book? Yeah. Like we have a running list of all the things we need books on. Yes. Just because of that question. Yes. Ooh, say it again. If you don't have an asset, you have to reference. Say it again.
When you don't have your own assets, you have to reference your competitors' assets.
Ooh, just lead them off to the other. Just give them. Bring me your young. Bring me your.
You have to start marketing other people's systems and frameworks because you don't have your own tools and processes. So it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Man, I think too, assets live longer than you do.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you think of legacy, like attainable legacy, this is the easiest legacy to attain.
Absolutely.
Because like I was writing my book and getting a little discouraged, and I was like, I got a daughter. She's gonna always be able to read this book. Like skip the world. Like she'll always be able to be like, no matter what.
And royalties are forever.
Royalties, she'll get money from it. She'll get it is the easiest like wealth generation tool to just obtain. It's like you can have assets that pay royalties that go forever. We haven't even talked about licensing. Man,
you the queen.
Yes, like we haven't even talked about
you the queen.
Things you can do.
We just not gonna glaze over that. You the queen.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Like, man, this is so good.
Yes.
Man, okay, so they gotta launch, you gotta market. What would you say to the person who's like, okay, because this is what I'm seeing in the market. I don't know if you're seeing that, but I'm seeing a lot of people. First off, I'm seeing a lot of people quit, just flat out. Bye, I'm done. So I'm seeing that doors shut, little red, I'm closed sign on the front. So I'm seeing the quit. I'm also seeing the discouragement like never before.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing people get discouraged, but then it's like they're discouraged because they're not getting sales, but they're not investing in marketing, so they're not getting sales. It's like a circular situation. What would you say to the person who is terrified of spending money on marketing right now because of the recession?
This one you should be going all in,
100%.
because everybody is quitting. Yep. Like gangbusters. People are like quitting on themselves. They're quitting on their visions. And you know, most importantly, they're quitting on the people that need them most. Like, think about the person that's on Google right now. They're on YouTube right now. They're on Apple Podcasts right now looking for this podcast. Yeah. They're looking for someone who has vision, who has dream, who has a space for them to thrive and live themselves. So I feel like now is not the time to quit. Now, if you're in like an not emotional state, but like in a mental state where you need to quit, then, you know, that's obviously understandable. But if you just quitting because it's hard, shame on you.
Now, you are someone who I have literally seen go through different trials, come out, not give up, experience loss, bounce back, do what you had to do. How do you, when you're in a creative slump, because you're also like super creative, how do you literally pull yourself out of that? And what did it take for you to have done that if you've experienced something like that?
Well, you know, my mother passed away last year, and that was probably the hardest, because when you have a parent die, you like, dang. I was working this hard to give my mama a house. Yeah. Now it's like, hey, I'm not working for that anymore. At least that part of it. And I'm like, okay, well, where do I go from here? What is the meaning of my life, right? And I think for me, when I was in that slump, sometimes you have to unplug from the noise. I think a lot of us are too plugged in, especially if you're like running rampant on a lot of social media platforms. You're having so much influence and stuff that's coming into your body and soul and spirit and mind. And a lot of the times, what you be thinking is not yours because you are so consumed with everybody else. So the first thing I recommend is unplug and like really get to a place where you get to know yourself. And if you take the time to get to know yourself, you will be able to discover that you are creative. You know, I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm not creative. I'm not this. I'm not that. You haven't even given yourself the space or the opportunity to even try to be that.
That is so good. Whew, this has just been an incredible conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll probably have to have you back. Let people know how they can find you, how they can support you. Oh, and your event is coming up. We'll make sure to get this out before your event. Tell us about the event as well.
Yes, so I'm hosting an event. It's a one-day intensive. It's called UnCloned Lunch Live, where I'll be teaching entrepreneurs step-by-step how to walk away with a lunch campaign that they can go and launch out in the world. And it's happening on August 19th here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Amazing. And where can they find you on social media, websites?
I am Audria Richmond across all social media platforms.
Awesome. And now, you guys, if you feel like you need to market, which is literally every human being watching this podcast, make sure you go get this book, UnCloned Marketing. Make sure you go get this book, UnCloned Marketing. Make sure you go get this book, UnCloned Marketing, and then read it. Don't just buy it. Read it. This book is incredible. It has step-by-step, like how to do your marketing campaign, all the pieces. My first marketing campaign that I actually wrote out on a plane, 20-plus steps in a Google Doc, was off of the format of this particular book. So please do go and check out this book, get it and read it, and check out all of her stuff. This is my sister. We are literally family. And so I am just honored that you came on the show. You're our first guest.
I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Like, this is huge. This is big. I remember the computer with the blue screen.
Put it up.
We up in this jet though. I'm here for it.
The growth. And I will tell you, like, you've been so influential to our business and our lives.
Trying to get me to cry. I'm trying to keep my face together.
So thank you, and thank Calvin just for being great friends. Like, you know, I feel like real friendship requires you to go through and overcome things, and we've been able to do that. And so I just love you. I appreciate you.
I love you too.
So y'all are family. So thank you again for coming on the Speak Your Way to Cash show. Please support my sister Audria Richmond, and you guys. I will see you next time on the Speak Your Way to Cash show. Like, subscribe, share. Make sure you download it on Apple Podcasts. And if you enjoyed it, give us a review. You can always pick up a free copy of the first part of the Speak Your Way to Cash book at the link under this video and in the podcast as well. And we will see you next time on the Speak Your Way to Cash show.
Get to it in a day. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low.